This is the grade 9 essay structure that regardless of what grade you're starting at, if you're a grade 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever you are, that you should be using to rapidly boost your grade in English Lit. And I've even got a model paragraph for you to steal in this. Watching this video is probably one of the highest leverage tasks that you can do for English Lit because it's the thing that most students do wrong when putting it all together. So firstly, what is the structure? This is our PETA ETA core paragraph structure, and I'm going to break this down for you. Now, depending on your exam board, you might have to drop some of this structure, like if context is in it, but for AQA, for all of your literature paragraphs, you can do this, bar poetry. It's a slightly different one that I've got on things like the lighter pub because it's a bit more detailed. So what this stands for, it stands for point, evidence, technique, analysis, evidence, technique, analysis, context, right intentions. Now you're probably thinking, that seems really complicated. I use PIL, I use PETAL. Now guys, you are used to revising like 100 different quotes. You're used to revising complex ideas. This structure, you learn it once and you use it all the time. This is a high leverage task to do. And just because it's got a few extra letters in it doesn't mean it's harder to use. This actually makes it easier because there's less for you to think about in the exam to get wrong or to miss out. It means you can directly follow the structure and then put it into the exam. It makes it super, super easy. So this structure, how I like to do it is I always want to make sure that for the extract paragraph, because remember, if you get given an extract, you have to do a paragraph from the extract. I always like to do 2 quotes from the extract, just to really demonstrate my understanding. So that means I would do a different bit of evidence here as I would do here. They're 2 different bits of evidence. But for the rest of the play or the text, I like to do one piece of evidence and then I just zoom in on it. So example, let's say I would give one quote here. Let's say this is a dagger which I see before me. Then if this is on my non-extract paragraph, so I'm not referencing the extract, I'm referencing a quote that I've remembered, then what I would just do for my second piece of evidence is I would just zoom in on a different part of the quote. So is this the dagger which I see before me? I'm going to give one technique, and then for the second one I'm just going to zoom in. I'm not going to give a new evidence. Whereas let's say, for example, it was in the extract, and the extract was the unsex me here extract, I might do an evidence unsex me here, and then fill me top to toe with direst cruelty. I'd use 2 separate pieces of evidence. So that's how I do it. Context is referencing the time, the writer, anything going on, and then writer's intentions, we want to keep it separate. So you'll probably mention in your analysis, Shakespeare constructs, or Priestley does this. Like, you probably use their name, but that isn't quite writer's intentions. We want to have a separate time to really talk about their impact on the reader or the audience. Now, something I really want to go through, which is one of the most underrated things and hacks of how to plan your paragraphs, is hacks for your point. So if we see in the point, this is basically going to establish what our paragraph is on. Now, most students struggle with planning. This makes it a really, really easy way to plan. We need to do 2 things. There's 2 things we've got to do. The first one is the word from the question. We've got to think about what is actually I'm being asked. Like, what am I being asked? Because if you don't focus on what the question is, you're not going to get the marks. So firstly, the question is something like this. How does Priestley present the dangers of putting business and status above people? Okay, cool. So I've got a good paragraph. So I'm like, The question is dangers of putting business and status above people. I can't just focus on dangers. I can't just focus on business. I need to be focused on what the word or the statement is I'm focusing on. So my example would be that if I was going to write it up, I want to make sure I'm using those precise words from the question. Danger of putting business and status above people. For example, Priestley presents Berling as a contemptuous collective society, embodying the dangers of putting business and status above people within capitalist ideology. So you can see that I'm actually going to use the phrasing. Now, throughout the whole paragraph, I don't have to write up the statement every single time, but I want to make sure I'm actually using the whole statement at least 2, 3, 4 times, because that is what the question is asking me. So that's the first thing I need to identify. What is it asking me? And you can find that by literally finding the word or phrase in the question. And the second one is your own point. Now, this is what most students miss out, but this is what I bang on about on the lighter pub, and I've got quite a few examples going through this there, about you want to create your own point, which is almost like your mini argument that you're going to have in that paragraph. It's like the mini thing that you're arguing. Imagine like the overall essay is about dangers of putting business and status above people, and in each paragraph we want to have a very specific focus, because then that shows we're exploring different ideas, and it makes sure we're not repeating our ideas as well, which a lot of people do. So the first thing we do to make our own point is we've got to pick our quote, and then we've got to think about a key theme or word that answers that question. So let's say, for example, this is my quote that I've decided to pick, and then I'm going to go through my different key themes, and I can either think about a word that answers the question or a key theme if it can link. And I'm going to look at this and I'm going to go, This quote could link to capitalism, and I can link capitalism to the dangers of putting business and status above people. That is how I'm going to create my argument for each paragraph. So then this is what it kind of looks like as a summary, and I'm going to go through a breakdown here. The word from the question is dangers of business and status, and my own point is capitalism versus socialism. So I'm going to be constantly talking about the dangers of business and status, and I'm going to constantly talk about either the word capitalism or socialism. So I'm actually going to go through what the grade 9 analysis looks like for this Mr. Berlin quote. So we're just going to go to the last minute revision section on the Light Up Hub, and this basically covers the whole of Inspector course in just 19 minutes. You can go through literally everything within Inspector course. So I'm going to go with Mr. Berlin, and I'm going to go through this quote now. Remember, what we want to do, guys, is we want to pre-learn grade 9 analysis using the what, how, why framework that has critical interpretations and analysis we know is going to get the marks, and then we can adapt it in the exam. So for example, now, if we look at all of this analysis I've got, obviously I know I'm going to use this quote in the exam. So I'm like, hey, cool, I know I'm going to use it. I've done my own point, my word from the question, my own point is about capitalism, my word from the question about the dangers of business. So what I'm going to do is, because I've pre-learned this already, I'm going to use this analysis, I've already learned it, and I'm going to link it back to the word from the question and my own point. And this is why you want to pre-learn it. You want to have character summaries like here. You want to have summaries, because then if you have a character summary, you can be like, okay, even if that quote doesn't really link, how could I use things that I've learned about my character summary? You want to have summaries that's really easy for you to remember it in a really short, succinct way, because of course you've got a lot to remember, and this is the format that we want to be revising it. So let's look at a full paragraph example. So let's say the question is, how does PETA present the dangers of putting business and status above people? So the first thing I'm going to do is my point. With my point, I'm going to have my own point in the word from the question. Precy presents Berling as a contemptuous collective society, embodying the dangers of putting business and status above people within capitalist ideology. Thus, Precy crafts Berling as a microcosm. Microcosm is when something small represents something larger. Mr. Berling is one small character, but he represents the bigger group of capitalists, replaces human solidarity with economic self-interest. Then we got my evidence, as if we were all mixed up together like bees in a hive, community and all that nonsense. Obviously that's the one I've chosen. Then I'm going to do my techniques. Remember, I've taken it from my what, how, why on my Light Up Hub analysis that I've pre-learned, and I'm just going to talk about the dash. Then my analysis, I'm literally going to repeat my what is the effect of the technique, my how is how does it show it and why, and making sure I'm linking it back to my word for my question, my own point. This creates a theatrical pause before community, which forces the actor to hesitate before uttering the word. Nice bit of analysis I've taken from Light Up, and the fact that I'm looking at the form. The form is the fact that I'm showing the examiner I know it's a play, and how do I know it's a play? It's because you can't talk about an actor performing a line if it was a book. That's how I know I'm talking about a play, because that's specific to the play form. This illuminates how Berling's ideological capitalist conditioning runs so deep that the very concept of community produces physical volition. So that's my what, my how, and now my why. This reflects how the dangers of placing business above people is now not a conscious choice, but a conditioned reflex. So you can see that I've linked it in, I've embedded it into my pre-learned analysis, and even me using my character summaries that I've got from Light Up on Mr. Berling, I can weave that into it as well to layer my analysis. Because then I've basically pre-written up most of what I need, and I've made sure I've got concise analysis I know is going to work in the exam. Then my second evidence is I'm going to zoom in on the quote, because remember, I said for any of my paragraphs that I'm referencing my own quotes, not ones from the extract, I'm just going to zoom in to another part of the quote, because I like to have two techniques in analysis that I've already again pre-learned from Light Up that I can just literally stick in, because it just makes it easier. My technique is the animal simile. Now we're going for my second piece of analysis. Again, what I've taken from Light Up. And what I want to make sure I'm doing here is make sure I'm linking it to wider ideas. And that's why it's really important, guys, for you to be able to get feedback, not just on the analysis. Obviously, we're going to pre-learn the analysis, the quotes, the techniques and things that you've got from Light Up, but how to put it together, because that is what you're getting marked on. The final piece is what the examiner is seeing, not just the ideas, but how you link it together. So how you can do that is you can write up your paragraph into Light Up if you've got the last minute revision section, and then what you can do is you can see like what are you missing and how are you putting this all together. So you want to obviously use the PETA or paragraph structure. You want to say, okay, like what did you do well and how would this actually get marked if an examiner was doing it? Because I know not all of your teachers have enough time to mark things, and sometimes the feedback's really hard to read or interpret, but this just gives it really basically. You can see like where do marks normally go missing when students do it, and then to see like specifically what to improve. So you want to be looking at like what grade 9 vocab would be including to up level it, and this is the most important thing. How would we write a more upgraded version of what we did? So whatever you wrote here, based on the feedback, you'll see an examiner verified example of how you can include it. And that's a really good way that when we're putting these paragraphs together and how to structure it, we want to be getting that feedback to be like, hey, are we putting it all together well? Like, are all these ideas linking really nicely together? Am I linking it back to the word from the question and my own point, so we can really see that? For analysis, so the effect of the analysis for the technique is it intensifies his dehumanization of the lower social classes. That's what the animal simile does, highlighting Berling as a microcosm of capitalist commodification. So a microcosm, remember, something small representing something larger. He's one small character, but he represents at large the idea that capitalists see people in exchange. Like a commodity is like something you could buy or sell. That's how capitalists view people, where individuals are treated as economic units rather than human beings. Thus, Mr. Berling functions as a reminder of the dangers of putting profit over people is structural, as capitalism fractures social unity at the level of language and thought, not just policy and law. So you can see there, what I've done is I've linked him to wider ideas, again, because I've seen that in my feedback that I need to link it to wider ideas, and then what I can do is I can make sure I'm including that. Luckily on Light Up, we already do that for you with the analysis, because we already put that in there. But if you're doing it on your own, you need to make sure that you're actually linking it to bigger ideas so you can get more marks. And then you can see we've got dangers of putting it again, we've got word from the question, and our own point. Now, context. This highlights the laissez-faire economy of 1912, as approximately 25% of the population lived in poverty with no welfare safety net and minimal social mobility. Social mobility means the ability to move between classes. This highlights how Berling's capitalist worldview was not personal prejudice, but an entire system's ideology, as the true danger of a business-first society is that it prevents those at the top from seeing the humanity of those below. So you can see what I've done really well there. I've stated my context. It's not really long. It's like a sentence. I put my context in. I've put in a little fact as well, because I'm trying to impress the examiner. I know some facts and statistics. And then what I've done is I've linked it back. Again, what have I linked it back to? The word from the question, my own point. Because that is how I want to be making sure I'm linking everything back. I've obviously pre-learnt my context. I've learnt my 4 to 6 pieces of context that can link to any question. I've already done that. I've already learnt my quotes. I've learnt the analysis, but it's how I'm tying it together and how I'm putting it in this structure. So it's like how you're wrapping it up in the end. And then with our writer's intentions. Priestley constructs Berling as a political diatribe, a strong criticism, against capitalism, criticising a society that makes the dangers of status above people feel like rational economics, like justified. Perhaps Priestley also uses Berling to warn that capitalism does not merely ignore collective responsibility, it trains individuals to regard it as weakness. So you can see then what I'm doing is I'm summarising the whole overall idea of the intentions. I'm not saying, Priestley is showing this about Mr. Berling. What are the bigger ideas he's showing about society? Like, what is he trying to really teach his audience? And that is how I formulate it together. So what you want to make sure you're doing is you want to obviously know your 1 to 3 key quotes for each key character. You want to know the grade 9 analysis. You want to know the character summaries. Then you want to be able to put it in this structure, get feedback on this structure to see how are you putting it together, and trying to see how you can constantly adapt the same quotes and analysis. If you pick them well, they should link to multiple key themes, and you can basically link that to any question you get. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe, leave a comment if you've got any questions, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.